Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron and welcome back today to another live team. It is the live game review of our 1-0 win against Burnley yesterday at Goodison Park on Boxing Day. I haven't spoke to you live since Christmas Day, so I hope that you did all have a fantastic Christmas and a fantastic Boxing Day. Obviously the Blues making it absolutely unbelievable for all of us yesterday with a really good win. Listen, it wasn't the easiest game. Notoriously, when you come up against sides like Burnley, it is tough to play against because they usually just sit 11 men behind the ball, give you the ball and say, yeah, break us down, and we know ourselves that Everton are notoriously not good at doing that. In the past we struggle against sides that give us the ball and sit back and let us come at them, because I think we're a lot better playing against the run of play. And I think we're a lot better playing in a counter-attacking style of way rather than having all of the possession and having all of the ball. But, we done what we needed to do yesterday. We got the win, which was all that matters. Against sides like Burnley, in games like that, it really is a case of just getting that first goal. And then once you get that goal, and the opposition has to come out then and they have to start playing, and they can't time waste and take 20 minutes to take every goal kick, and they can't take 15 minutes to take every throw in. That's when the game starts to open up a little bit more, because the opposition team starts to open up a little bit more. But we didn't end up getting that goal obviously until the last 10 minutes of the game, and by that point I think Burnley had sort of accepted the fate really. But it doesn't really matter, does it? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter whether we scored in the first minute or whether we scored in the last minute. We scored and we won the game, and that was all that matters, and that was massively needed yesterday in Carlo Ancelotti's first game in charge of Everton Football Club. It was massive that we got the win yesterday, because when you look at some of the fixtures that we've played so far, we're unbeaten in a few. Obviously, since Duncan Ferguson come in, beat Chelsea, and then got a few good draws against the likes of Manchester United and Arsenal, of course. But it was absolutely it was much needed that we got the 3 points yesterday. We were coming up against a side like Burnley, who realistically we should be beating at Goodison Park. There shouldn't be any excuse to not get 3 points against a side like Burnley. So it was absolutely it was key that we did do that. And then obviously we've got a tough run of fixtures again. We play stupid amounts of times in the next 48 hours. Playing Newcastle tomorrow. The live game preview to that game, by the way, will be today at 6 p.m, so don't forget to join us at 6 p.m. today for the live game preview to the Newcastle game. And then obviously we've got the New Year's Day fixture against Manchester City. And then going into January, there's loads of games. We play stupid amounts of games in such a short period of time, and it's always the case with the December and Christmas period. So that was why it was absolutely vital that we went out and we got the 3 points yesterday, because I think the next couple of games are going to be tough for us, certainly with the the level with the weakness of the squad in terms of the injuries that we've got and fitness issues and stuff like that. It was really important that we went out and got the 3 points yesterday. So what we were all waiting for was Carlo Ancelotti's Everton team. What team was Carlo Ancelotti going to put out? What starting 11 was he going to put out? What formation was he going to put out? We were all wondering what he was going to go with, whether he'd go with a 4-4-2, whether he'd go for a 4-3-3. He ended up going with a 4-4-2, it seemed. Some people thinking it might have been 5 at the back, because Djibril Sidibe was playing on the right wing, or right midfield, sorry. He confirmed before the game that the back four was Luca Dean, Seamus Coleman, Yerry Mina and Mason Holgate, and then the wingers were Bernard and Djibril Sidibe. So already something that we haven't seen before, already something that Marco Silva didn't sign and implement, already something that Duncan Ferguson didn't think of, was putting somebody like Djibril Sidibe on the right wing. And Carlo Ancelotti, obviously in the couple of training sessions that he's had with the lads, has looked at this squad and thought, well, you know what, we've got two decent defensive right backs there. We've got Seamus Coleman and we've got Djibril Sidibe. We're struggling with right wingers. Obviously Alex Iwobi out injured after picking up an injury against Arsenal. Theo Walcott, I know he was back in the matchday squad yesterday, but he's been out for a couple of weeks injured. Richarlison's been playing up front as well. So already we're struggling for right wingers. We're struggling for right midfielders and people to fill in that position. And I think Carlo Ancelotti would have looked at the squad and looked at the lads in training and thought, well, you know what? When you look at Djibril Sidibe's stats this season, some of the assists that he's gotten this season, and the fact that notoriously he is a little bit more beneficial going forward. Now defensively, I think Djibril Sidibe's been absolutely fantastic this season. But obviously when you're playing right back, you're up and down, and I think his offensive ability has topped it, to be perfectly honest with you. And he showed yesterday an absolutely unbelievable assist. Once again, a fantastic ball crossed in, and not the only fantastic ball Djibril Sidibe put in yesterday. He was putting in balls left, right and centre, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin, for me, scored the hardest opportunity that he had. Dominic Calvert-Lewin had about 3 or 4 headers that he should have put in the back of the net, where he was free on his own in the box, and he headed them straight at the keeper or over the bar, and he scored the hardest one, knee level, coming in with pace, and he gets his head on it and he scores. And And obviously, that's what that's what Dom has to work on, and Carlo Ancelotti said that at the end of the game. He said he really, really likes Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He thinks he's a very, very good striker, but he has to work on, his offensive ability, and he has to work on scoring more. And one thing I took out of Carlo Ancelotti's post-game press conference was, when you come into a footballing team, and when you're coming into a footballing side as a manager, and you've been out of the Premier League for quite a while, and you're coming up against a side like Burnley, who, like we said, are notorious for just sitting back, giving you the ball and saying, right, now you hate us, it's up to you to do the work. Now, Everton notoriously struggle against sides like that. Everton don't like to be given the ball and told, right, you're going to do all of the work and we're just going to sit back and defend it, because we struggle to break through teams, and we struggle to get passes of play together where, which can ensure us that we break through teams. And I think that's why there was times yesterday where we seen the midfield just pinging the ball between each other, and we seen it going back to the defence, and we seen the ball coming sideways, because we were trying to figure out ways to get through Burnley and to break through the defence, and we did struggle at times. And I said in the instant match reaction yesterday, the midfield in the first half for me could have done with being a little bit more creative. There could have been a little bit more movement in there, because we needed that movement to ensure that we broke through. But I think something I took from Carlo Ancelotti's post-game press conference that really, really impressed me was he said, listen, defensively we were good, which we were. We didn't have much to do, let's be perfectly honest. Burnley didn't come at us an awful lot of times. I don't think they had a shot on target. Jordan Pickford had a very, very quiet day. But what the defence needed to do from the long balls and from the set pieces that were thrown in, they dealt with well. But Carlo Ancelotti said, we could be better going forward, and I'd be a little bit more, we need to be better going forward. And that really, really, that perked my ears up a little bit, because we did win 1-0, and arguably we should have scored more. Mason Holgate having an opportunity within the first 5 or 10 minutes that he should put in the back of the net. Like I said, Dominic Calvert-Lewin having a few opportunities that realistically he should be putting away. But that really, really resonated me, because you'd think that any manager stepping into a new club, a home fixture at the home ground against a side like Burnley, who will sit back and will give you the ball, you'd think that any sort of victory, whether it be 1-0, 2-1, would just be, brilliant start, let's get going from here. But you could see that Carlo Ancelotti wasn't happy with the fact that we didn't create more, wasn't happy with the fact that we didn't score more, and I'm really, really impressed with that. For me, there's very little in football more impressing when a manager comes out after his team's won and said, we could have done better there, we could have won by more, because it means that they're not going to settle for 1-0s. They're not going to settle for performances where, I know we didn't barely scrape the win yesterday, because we absolutely dominated Burnley and we deserved the win, but they're not going to, settle for games like that where we're only winning by 1 goal. And that's what I really, really liked about Carlo Ancelotti's post-game press conference, is he come out and he said, we won, it was a fantastic day for me in terms of the atmosphere, it was brilliant that we got the 3 points, but we could have done an awful lot better, and that's what we're going to work on. And for me, that's so impressive that the manager's coming out and he's seeing that on the pitch. But anyway, back to the original point, Jibril Sidibe was absolutely excellent, and it was a change in the team that I think a lot of fans didn't expect, and I think a lot of fans were a little bit dubious about. Obviously, Seamus Coleman coming in at right back. I think if you were to put the two players next to each other and you were to pick, right, these players are going to play on the right hand side, who plays further forward, who plays further back, it would be Jibril Sidibe that plays further forward, because I think his output going forward is an awful lot better than Seamus Coleman. Seamus Coleman, for me, since he had that massive injury, is he struggles breaking forward. He doesn't quite like to go forward. And one thing that I think we've all been saying about Seamus Coleman for quite some time now is that he worries when going forward, because he worries about whether he's going to be able to get back in time to defend. And that's massive when you're a fullback. And your fullback who's played at the highest level for quite some time now. And, let's be honest, Seamus Coleman isn't going to have as much stamina as he did 4 or 5 years ago, and he isn't going to have as much energy as he did 4 or 5 years ago. So naturally, he is going to worry when he's going forward, because he's going to panic about whether he's going to be able to sack back in time to defend if there's a counter-attack on. And I think one thing I've been really impressed with Carlo Ancelotti seems to have seen that within the first few days of training. Carlo Ancelotti seems to have seen that, right, okay, Seamus is good going forward, but he's hesitant to go forward because he's worried about what happens if he can't get back in time. He's also a very, very good defender. Jibril Sidibe is good going forward and good defensively. We haven't got any other, players realistically to play on the right side without squeezing players in and fitting players into positions that they might not necessarily be comfortable with. So let's put Sidibe further forward and put Seamus Coleman at right back. And I think that right hand side yesterday was absolutely excellent. It just topped the left hand side for me. I think Luka Dean at times played well, but at times struggled again. I still think he's carrying a little bit of a knock that he's just going to have to play through. Bernard again at times come into his own. He had a good few little bits of play where he took the ball down himself and he ran with it, and he used his skill and he used his ability. But for me, again, still trying to shake off that whatever injury he's had over the last couple of weeks, he still seemed a little bit hesitant at times to run at defenders and to take defenders on. But that right-hand side was absolutely unbelievable for me. Jibril Sidibe and Seamus Coleman. Seamus Coleman, solid defensively, done what he needs to do, and he had that output to give it to Jibril Sidibe, who he knew could break forward, and he knew had that defensive eye, and that's what it's about. I think, for me, when you're playing, you know, a left back and a left midfielder, or a right back and a right midfielder, and you've got your full-backs, and they might not necessarily trust whoever's in front of them to get back in time and to help them out. And I think that's a big reason as to why Seamus doesn't break forward an awful lot, because not only is he worried about himself not getting back, he's worried about whether whoever's in front of him doesn't cover him. Whereas I think with Jibril Sidibe yesterday, Seamus knew that if he was to get forward, if he was to break forward, he knows that Sidibe will naturally fall back into that right back position, because that's where he's been playing and that's the position that he plays in. And I think that worked really, really well yesterday. And like I said, the ball in from Sidibe is absolutely unbelievable again. And Dominic Calvert-Lewin's scored another goal for Everton that you look at and you just think, wow, what a goal. It's literally, it is Duncan Ferguson-esque, and you can see how important Duncan Ferguson has been to Dominic Calvert-Lewin's improvements and to Dominic Calvert-Lewin's development. And for me, I've just got to give a big shout out over the last 2 or 3 weeks to Dominic Calvert-Lewin and to Mason Holgate. I think the pair of them have stepped up massively, especially since Marco Silva's left. Even when Marco Silva was in, there were two players that you would guarantee you would get 110% out of, but there mightn't necessarily be that quality there. But I think since Marco Silva's left, since Duncan Ferguson's taken over, and then obviously now Ancelotti's taken over, the pair of them, the performances have been absolutely unbelievable. Mason Holgate again yesterday didn't put a foot wrong. He's played however many minutes, 270 minutes over the last 3 games, and he literally hasn't put a foot wrong. The lad has been absolutely unbelievable. And same with Dominic Calvert-Lewin yesterday again. Trust Dom to score the hardest chance he got, but at the end of the day he scored, and that's what we needed. And it was a little bit disappointing that we didn't score until the last 5 or 10 minutes of the game, because I do feel like if we'd have scored a little bit earlier on, we'd have been able to, the floodgates will have opened a little bit, and Burnley would have had to come out, and Burnley would have had to, try and get the equaliser. And I think that's when we'd have hit them on the break, and that's when the likes of Bernard and even Moise Keane, when he come on, would have come into their own. But we did struggle to get through them at times, and that's what Everton notoriously do. And in games like that, I honestly believe that under Marco Silva or under previous Everton managers, we wouldn't have got the 3 points yesterday, because there would have been a point in that game, whether it be 60th, 70th, 80th minute, where whoever be in charge would have just gone, shut up shop. We're not going to break through this team. We haven't got the quality, so shut up shop and make sure we don't get beat. Whereas Carlo Ancelotti's Everton yesterday persisted on breaking through, and it took us 80 minutes to score what was inevitably the winner. And we knew once we scored, we could relax a little bit, because Burnley were never going to break forward, and Burnley were never going to cause us any issues. But that's what Sean Dyche's teams do, and it's absolutely horrible to play against Sean Dyche's teams. It's like playing against the Sam Allardyce team. It's absolutely horrible, because Everton do not do well when teams give us the ball and say, you run at us and you do the hard work. We like to play when teams are coming at us and we can hit them on the counter-attack. But like I said, it was massive yesterday that we got the 3 points, and it was massive yesterday that Dominic Calvert-Lewin got that goal. I'm just going to tweet today's team out, and then I'll get involved in the live comments. I hope you all did have a fantastic Christmas. Like I said at the start of the team, this is the first live team I've done since Christmas Day. So I hope you all did have a fantastic Christmas. I hope it was filled with joy and laughter and food and drink if you're into drinking, and I hope you all did stay safe as well. Remember, it's very important to stay safe. Obviously we'll have loads more live streams before New Year's Day, but like I said, have a fantastic New Year as well, and I hope you all did have a fantastic Christmas. 38 of you in the live comments, so big thank you for getting involved on your Friday afternoon. I'm well aware that a lot of people will be in work, a lot of people will have stuff to do with it, obviously it's being the day after Boxing Day, cleaning up your Christmas stuff, etc. So big thanks to everybody for getting involved in the live comments today. If you're enjoying this team, please do hit that like button. Dosbig says, hi Cam, hope you and everyone enjoy Christmas. You think we might sign someone in January? I had a great Christmas, thank you very much. I hope you did yourself. I do think we'll sign somebody in January. Jack W. Tech says, what did Phil Bardsley do? I had a little bit of a go with Phil Bardsley in the instant match reaction yesterday, and I think rightly so, to be honest with you. Well, firstly, before anything, he was a bit of a knobhead in the game. He was throwing himself into stupid tackles. He was getting himself involved left, right and centre. And he was, he was just being a little bit of a nuisance. And I understand that it's football and that's what it's all about. And, he plays for the side that are trained to, make a nuisance out of themselves and make it hard for the opposition. So I understand that, but after the game, just before the final whistle, actually, literally a millisecond before the final whistle, he flew in with a challenge on Dominic Calvert-Lewin, which was absolutely unnecessary. For me, he was very, very lucky to not get sent off for it, because he was nowhere near the ball, and he had every intent to hurt him. He barged Calvert-Lewin right into the advertising post. And then ultimately the final whistle went, the crowd were up cheering, and it was just dismissed really. Dominic Calvert-Lewin got up, there wasn't anything necessarily wrong with him, but then Phil Barnsley seemed to have been walking away, and then Luca Dean, who was literally going over and helping his teammate over, he threw himself at Luca Dean, and he'd been having a go at Luca Dean throughout the entire game, purely because Luca Dean's a much better footballer than him and had the better of him all day. But he threw himself at Luca Dean, and he went at him after the game had finished. 90 minutes of football played, Everton had won fair and square, we were much the better team, and Phil Barnsley's throwing himself at players because he's petulant and he can't take losing. And for me, I've just got no time for that at all. Absolutely no time for that. He needs to grow up, he needs to get a grip of himself, and he needs to walk off like a professional and stop being an absolute knobhead. So that's why I had to go Phil Barnsley. Hadim says, I really enjoy your work, mate, from Senegal. Thank you very much, really, really do appreciate that. Carl says, DCL with another Sidibe was phenomenal, and Mina and Holgate were good. Holgate needs to stop pushing up. Dean was poor, midfield was good, Gylfi was class, Bernard was okay, Richie was decent, class show. Spot, you've hit the nail on the head there, to be honest with you. I'm going to talk about Gylfi Sigurdsson in just a second. Alex says, yes, Cam, yes, Alex, hope you're doing well. Shabba says, hiya, Cam, good to see you again. What an Xmas so far. Spot on, mate, good to see you too. Thanks for getting involved as per usual. Says, fingers crossed we can carry this form on to New Year. Hopefully, mate, hopefully. John says, my missus says you talk fast, kid. I'm sorry. Carl says, we passed like prime Barcelona. Coleman was class. Yeah, I'm going to talk about the overall play in a second. I agree. John says, Mina was our man of the match. I think Mina and Sidibe, I think both of them were fantastic. Dosbick says, Sidibe is the biggest positive surprise of the season in the squad. For me, I didn't know what to expect from him, but he's slowly becoming one of our first players on the selection sheet. I agree, absolutely spot on, whether it's at right back or whether it's at right midfield. John says, agreed, we need a centre mid who turns the ball and takes the team up the pitch. I agree with that one. And Evertonian TV says, we were superb, Ancelotti and his players had their heads screwed on, and we will definitely need that against Newcastle. I agree. Nizzy Cover says, ref was a proper joke. Spot on, mate, he was an absolute knobhead. And RG Allen says, I'm actually looking forward to the January transfer window for once. Me too. Joel says, where do you think we'll finish at the end of the season? I'm going to say 8th, 7th, 8th, somewhere around there. But anyway, yeah, like you said, like somebody mentioned in the live comments, then for me, it wasn't just the win, it wasn't just the energy and the battle that we give, it was the overall quality of our play. The passing was a lot better. I said in the instant match reaction, 2 or 3 weeks ago, we couldn't pass a ball 10 yards, whether it be Gylfi Sigurdsson, whether it be Tom Davis, who I know, only come on for a matter of, 10 or 15 minutes yesterday, whether it be Calvert-Lewin, whether it be Mason Holgate. 2 or 3, 4 weeks ago, we couldn't pass the ball 10 yards, we just couldn't. We were absolutely shocking in possession, whereas yesterday, in a game that we had the majority of the possession, in a game that, against a team that give you the possession, we done really, really well with that possession. And yeah, the only issue I had in that first half and even in the second half as well was I just don't think we moved an awful lot, but I'm okay with having an issue with the players not moving an awful lot or not having enough movement, because I'd rather have that issue than the passing being absolutely shocking. Because for me, you can work on movement, and it's very, very easy to coach movement into players and say, right, whenever you give the ball you need to move to here, or if you haven't got the ball you need to move to space, where it's significantly more difficult to, if a player can't pass 10 yards, to teach them how to pass 10 yards, because if you can't do that, you're pretty much not good enough to play. And I think that was the biggest issue yesterday, was that we could have created an awful lot more than we did, and we did create opportunities. Like I said, Mason Holgate had one within the first 10 minutes that realistically he should have scored. Dominic Calvert-Lewin was having frequent headers into the box. I think he had 3 of significance. He had one that he blazed over the bar, and he had 2 that he hit straight at the goalkeeper, which again he should do a lot better with. But I think we'd have created more if we just had a little bit more movement in midfield and we were just a little bit more awake to it. Now, okay, you can blame that on the fact that we've played an awful lot in recent weeks and the fitness mightn't be as good as it should be. But like I said, for me, that can be coached in. And what we seen yesterday under an Ancelotti side, who again, Carlo Ancelotti's only had this team for a matter of days, about a week. I think it's a week today. I'm getting all my times mixed up because of the Christmas period, and it's all been a bit mad, hasn't it? But I think in that week he's worked heavily on passing and short passing, and you know, making sure that at the very least the players can do the basics. And Duncan Ferguson worked on that as well. Give Duncan Ferguson his praise. He worked on making sure that the players just stepped themselves back down to basic and didn't do anything they didn't need to do. And I think that's what we've seen from the likes of Gylfi Sigurdsson yesterday. Again, for me, when he had the ball, I think he played well. I think his passing was a lot better than it's been in recent weeks, and I think his interceptions were a lot better than they've been pretty much ever. You don't really see Gylfi Sigurdsson intercepting, you don't really see Gylfi Sigurdsson getting involved usually, but I think he was yesterday at times when, you know, Burnley were breaking free and Burnley had the ball in the midfield. Gylfi Sigurdsson was coming across and he was intercepting that, and that's a big positive for Gylfi Sigurdsson. I still think he could have done with moving a little bit more. I still think there was a couple of times in the game, couple too many times in the game where he was caught standing around and he was caught pointing and he was caught pretty much out of the game, which he needs to improve on, and I think he needs to improve his output as well. You know, there was a couple of opportunities that he had where he could have done a lot better with and he just didn't. But again, it's little steps and it's positives going forward. Gylfi Sigurdsson 2 or 3 weeks ago went 28 minutes without touching the ball, and when he touched the ball he felt a bit and he couldn't pass 10 yards, whereas now he's intercepting plays, getting involved, he's putting himself about, you know, he's making those easy passes. Yeah, okay, going forward, his output could do with being a little bit better, and maybe his movement, you know, every now and then could do with being a little bit better, but it's improvements on what we've been seeing, and that's exactly what we need to see under the new manager. And again, yesterday, I think the quality of the team as a whole was a lot better, and the quality of the team as a whole was a lot more improved than what, you know, even what we'd seen under, you know, under Duncan Ferguson. What we've seen under Duncan Ferguson was a lot of fight, a lot of passion, a lot of intensity, a lot of want to win. And we've seen that yesterday for me under Carlo Ancelotti, but we also seen, you know, obviously that little bit more quality that he's obviously worked on in the changing room. Now, don't get me wrong, it wasn't head and shoulders better than, you know, 2 or 3 weeks ago. It wasn't the best we're going to see out of Carlo Ancelotti. He's had the team for a week and he's got the same players that, you know, Marco Silva had and Duncan Ferguson had. And I think we're not going to see a real impact and a real change until, you know, at least the January transfer window, arguably the summer transfer window, when he can bring in his own players and he can implement his own strategies. You know, it was his first game in charge of the team, and the most important thing yesterday was to get the 3 points and was to get the win. I think the fashion that we done it in was really good. We never stopped from minute 1 to minute 90. Yes, we created a fair few opportunities, which we should have done better with. Carlo Ancelotti said that himself. But, you know, we carried on again until the 80th minute when we got the winning goal, and then we could have afforded to say, right, okay, we know that's the winner now, so let's just make sure that we don't give anything silly away, we don't give anything stupid away on the counter, we just continue to play our game, and that's exactly what we done. And I think, like I said, the most important thing yesterday was the 3 points, and you know, we were never going to see massive amounts of changes and a massive difference in performance after a week of a new manager, but I think we did see that intensity kept from, you know, the intensity that Duncan Ferguson brought in, and we also seen a little bit more quality in the possession, and that might just be that we had a good game. I'm not saying that that's going to continuously stay throughout the next 2 weeks. You know, again, tomorrow, not to be negative, but tomorrow the midfield might again be able to, you know, not go a game without failing to pass a ball 10 yards. But it's the fact that we're seeing those little improvements that we've got to be happy about, and the fact that we got the 3 points yesterday that we've got to be happy about. And now we look forward to tomorrow in a game against the Newcastle side that are in sort of up and down form at the minute, got absolutely obliterated yesterday by Manchester United through their own mistakes. So we need to make sure that if that Newcastle team are low on confidence and are making mistakes tomorrow, that we're capitalising on those mistakes, because it's a big game for Everton. It's away from home, Carlo Ancelotti's first away fixture, and we need to go out there and we need to get the 3 points again to climb up the table, because we are literally 2 or 3, 4 wins away from being right up there where we expected to be at the start of the season. But it was all about the team yesterday, and it was all about the 3 points at the end of the day. And I think, you know, like I said, the only shocking bit, you know, with the team news was Sidibe playing further forward, I think, because we just didn't expect it, but it really did work. And, you know, I would expect the same sort of starting 11 to play tomorrow against Newcastle, unless there's any injuries or any fitness issues, where, you know, if that's the case, I would expect somebody to drop out and maybe a Moise Kean get us goal. I think Moise Kean, just to touch on Moise Kean, I think he done really well coming into the team. He looked a lot more positive. He looked like he wanted to play. He looked like he, you know, even the run on the pitch and the running around and the getting the ball and the celebration when Calvert-Lewin scored, you could see that his mood is genuinely a little bit higher now, and he's excited for the future under a manager that I think is going to put their arm around him and really make sure that he understands the part that he's got to play in this team, and I think that's only positive going forward. But yeah, listen, it was a tough game to play yesterday. It was a really tough game. It was a hard, gritty, horrible game of football to watch. I think, Everton were fantastic, and Everton done really, really well to get the 3 points, but whenever you're watching your team play a side like Burnley, who do just put 10 men behind the ball and do just defend constantly, it is hard to watch because it's frustrating when you're trying to break through and you can't break through. And there was a couple of times where, give Burnley the due, they threw themselves in the way of every single ball, and they were blocking the ball left, right and centre. But ultimately the only thing that matters is that, Dominic Calvert-Lewin got that goal, and that we won the game, and ultimately that's what we wanted yesterday, and that's what we needed. And now we go on to tomorrow's game against Newcastle, where hopefully we can go in and put a similar performance in, and it may be a little bit easier, let's say. Like I said earlier on in the stream, don't forget to join us at 6 p.m. today for the live game preview to the Newcastle game, of course. 2 live teams today, because literally we played yesterday and we play tomorrow, so don't forget to join us at 6 p.m. for that one. Where are we? Jack says, I think DCL will win Player of the Month. I think he will as well. I think it'd be tough if he didn't. I think he's been fantastic. Kate says, keep up the good work, Cam. Always enjoy your videos. New Era looks positive. Thank you very much, Kate. Really do appreciate that. And yeah, it really, really does look positive, that's for sure. God says, I think Sadiba has a 16 million buyout in his contract. Get it paid. Get it paid, absolutely get it paid. What a player he is, and the performances he's been putting in recently are worth well more than 16 million for me. Nizzy Covers says, seeing them videos of the Tory Leicester fans, yeah, they're just knobheads, aren't they? I really, really hate Leicester. I don't like Leicester Football Club. I don't mind some of the fans. I understand it's only a minority, like it is with every other football club. There's a minority of dickheads, but Leicester have really gone down in my estimation since they played us at Goodison Park in the cup, and obviously with the whole scum thing yesterday, holding up pictures of the it's just idiots. I don't see why they've got some sort of level of entitlement now, thinking that they're some massive club when they're really not. RG Allen says, I can see DCL really kicking on under Ancelotti and finishing the season on 15 goals. I hope so, mate. I can see that too, to be honest with you. Justin says, not the best of games, but also not the worst win. Win's a win as long as we follow it up 3 points against Newcastle. Spot on, Justin, exactly. And we have to understand that those games come for every team in the Premier League. We're not going to get, I think the expectation yesterday was that we went out and we got the win, and that's what happened. I think some fans might have expected a little bit more of a glorious performance, and maybe one like the Burnley game at Boxing Day last year, but I think we have to understand that every team will play a side like that this season. Every team will play a Burnley where they struggle to get the win. Liverpool are top of the league and have only dropped 2 points this season, and look at how many games they've had where they've scored in the last minute, or they've scored 1 goal and then had to defend constantly, or they've struggled to break through a team and they've scored a penalty in the last 5 minutes. Look at how many games that's happened in, so we're always going to get games like that. The important thing is that you come out of those games with the 3 points, and I think previously under previous managers would have come out of those games with a point or maybe even a loss, but whereas yesterday we come out with the 3 points, and that's all that matters. And then there says, with all the injuries we have, how much better will we be under Ancelotti when they return? Who will flourish most under Ancelotti? Thanks for the reply on the Twitter message as well. No worries, mate. As I say, when you come over here, drop me a message. I'll come and have a little pint with you, and I'll show you the city. But yeah, I think I think Calvert-Lewin will flourish. I think Moise Kean is the obvious one, isn't it? Moise Kean is the one that springs to everybody's mind when you say, right, who is going to do really, really well under Ancelotti that mightn't have done well under previous managers? I think you're firstly thinking Moise Kean, not only because of that Italian connection, speaking the same language, but Moise Kean's a player that Carlo Ancelotti really, really likes, and is notoriously liked, and has come out before he was Everton manager and before Moise Kean was an Everton player and said, I really, really like this kid and he's got a fantastic, bright future. It's hard to sign him when he was at Napoli, so I think for me, it would be Moise Kean, I'd say, he'll flourish the most under Carlo Ancelotti, hopefully anyway, as well as hopefully everybody else flourishes as well. Dave says, I thought the 2 right backs work perfectly together, covering each other and seamlessly helping each other. Sadiba Crossan is the best in the squad. I agree, spot on, fantastic comment, Dave. Jack says, realistically, we're better than Leicester. Leicester are a fantastic team, mate. You seen that yesterday. They got obliterated by Liverpool, and they were very lucky to beat us. They're not a fantastic side. They've just got good individual players and a goal scorer, a proven goal scorer, which a lot of teams in the Premier League don't have, including, you could argue, Everton, although I'm going to give Calvert-Lewin his due. I think it'd be unfair to give him any criticism really at the minute. And Anna says, it was also very nice to see a calm and collected Holgate. Exactly. Mason's been absolutely unbelievable in the last sort of week or so, in the last sort of 3 weeks or so, and he'll be well up there for Player of the Month as well, I think. Anyway, that's going to do it for the first live team of today. If you have enjoyed, Please do hit that like button. It means an absolute massive amount to me. Like I said, a big thanks to everybody for getting involved in the live comments, and a big thanks to everybody for watching live. I do understand that it's a Friday afternoon, it's 1 o'clock. A lot of people will be sort of have better things to do probably. So big thanks. It really does mean an absolute massive amount to me that you've come and spent time out of your day to get involved in the live comments and watching the live stream. If you're watching as a YouTube video, don't forget to drop your comments in the comment section down below, and I'll be replying to as many of them as possible. Like I said, if you're free at 6 o'clock today, don't forget to join us for the live game preview of the Newcastle game tomorrow. We'll be giving my predicted start 11. We'll be talking about that game, and we'll be talking about the importance of following yesterday's victory on with the 3 points tomorrow afternoon. Anyway, big thanks for watching. I hope you all had a fantastic Christmas and continue to have a fantastic festive period, and hopefully the Blues can continue to make it better tomorrow afternoon. We sprinkled a little bit of sugar on top of the mince pie yesterday, and hopefully we can just put a fucking ton of sugar onto it with a 3 points tomorrow. Like I said, don't forget to join us at 6 p.m. today for the live game preview to that game. It'll be a really interesting one. We'll be talking through the side, and we'll be talking through what Carlo Ancelotti needs to do in order to get the 3 points tomorrow. Jack says, nice passing. It was, I agree 100%. Anyway, big thanks for watching. Please do hit that like button if you have enjoyed today's stream. Subscribe to the channel if you're new as well. I'm well aware that over the weekend, Christmas Day it was, of course, YouTube would do it on Christmas Day. YouTube decided to, I think, wipe a lot of subscribers. I don't know what it is. I don't know whether it's some sort of page where what they try and do, but they basically, I noticed that the subscriber count went down drastically, and I just want to say, I am aware that YouTube does that to people that genuinely watch the videos and genuinely subscribe, and they just unsubscribe them. So if you notice on your channel that, you know, you're unsubscribed from us and you were subscribed or you fancy subscribing, then please do hit that subscribe button, because obviously it's not down to yourself, it's down to the YouTube algorithm that's messed it up. So have a little look at that and make sure you are still subscribed, and if you're new to the channel and you fancy subscribing, it would mean an absolutely massive amount to me if you did. Like I said, please do hit that like button. Join us again at 6 p.m. today for the live game preview to the Newcastle game. Should be a really interesting one. Big thanks for watching. Yeah, up the Toffees, up the Blues. Carlo Ancelotti's men. Thanks very much. See you soon.